Hey, can I tell you a secret? I don't think that you're indecisive. I don't think that's what's going on. I think that you have spent a lot of time thinking about other people, thinking about what you have to get done. You have gotten really good at quieting what you want. So let's talk about that. You have spent maybe a lot of time thinking about what other people need, like your kids or your family. You have thought about what feels responsible to do, maybe with work and your career. So good at this that you've learned to filter out what you want even before it comes up, because there's so many other things that feel like take priority. What also might be happening is that maybe you've been disappointed in the past, and so it feels really scary to think about what you want and hope for something new because you don't want to be disappointed again. So maybe not knowing what you want feels a little bit safer than deciding on it and then going after it and not getting it. I think this plays out in really small ways in our lives. When someone asks me, for example, what do I want to do for my birthday, or what do I want for Christmas, or, something that just is all about me, I kind of freeze sometimes. I'm not used to thinking about what I want, what makes me happy. Not that I don't have desires. And it's not that you don't have desires. It's just that we have learned to not access those. If you can think of it like a muscle, that muscle that we practice, saying what we want or knowing what we want or feeling like our needs are important, that muscle has kind of atrophied. What happens when we find ourselves in this situation is that we begin to make assumptions about ourselves. We begin to say, I don't really know what I want. I don't know what I want out of life. I don't know what makes me happy, so I must be really indecisive. Or we say things like, I just don't have any strong desires either way. Sometimes we make assumptions that if we focus on ourselves, that makes us selfish. Like, we have responsibilities. We don't have the luxury of thinking of ourselves. We have other things that we have to get done. And we make assumptions about ourselves that if we change that dynamic, that we are being selfish for doing that. We get very good at killing the desire even before it can take shape. Like I really would love to take a painting class, but that's just not practical right now. The money needs to go to the kids, and they have practice, and they have things they need to get done. And, we are just used to putting ourselves on the back burner. That's not bad. But when you have spent decades, maybe a lifetime doing that, you get very good at quieting your own desires. And you begin to get out of touch with what you really want. Something happens in midlife where we start to unravel a bit, and we start to question some of the ways that we have been conducting ourselves. We start to notice that there are some things that we do that actually are not serving us anymore. When we want to make some changes, we can't do that unless we know what we want, unless we're connected to ourselves in a way that we know what lights us up, and we know what makes us passionate, and we know what we want to do and who we are. This is doubly important for someone in midlife who wants to make a career change. Sometimes that's even magnified when we are in a career and 8, 9, 10 hours a day, we're giving ourselves to this career, and we are realizing that it doesn't align with who we are. And so not only do we need to know what we want in life in terms of direction, but sometimes we find ourselves going, I don't want to do this career anymore. I need to make a career change. What do I want to do? And that is the heart of what I want to talk about today. Whether or not it's a career change, whether or not it's just for your sense of direction in life, I want to talk about, what do we do when we find ourselves in that situation? This is straight from my journal work that I did when I was thinking about what's important to me and I wanted to reprioritize those things. The very first step that I did was I did this drawing here. A big circle with arrows pointing out of it. You can see here. And I just wrote on there what's important to me. And I just started just like letting it flow out of my head, like filling in around each arrow what things were important to me. And start there. After you do that, and you feel like you've really exhausted it, maybe take a few days, because this work sometimes feels new, and you might be like, well, I'm not quite sure. I can, my kids or my spouse. But I want you to really think through some other things, just like what's important to me. And then the next step that I want you to do is I want you to write the question at the top of the page. What do I love to do? And I want you to just like let it free flow. Don't think too much about it. Just start writing a number. And small things, big things, I like to take a cruise. I like to do a walk with my dog, like all kinds of things. I like to, create origami. I like to, feed my chickens, like whatever it is. I just want you to let it flow out of you and to don't think too much about it. Don't structure it too much. Just start making a list and just start writing. And again, you may not be able to do that all in one day. Maybe you need to come back to it. Maybe you do like 5 a day over the course of a week. But this is the beginning exercise to crack us open to noticing things about ourselves. So again, the first step is what's important to me and make you in that center and all the things that are important to you. And then the next step is to begin to make a list of what are the things you love to do. That's the beginning 2 things. I want to make it real simple today. I don't want to give you a whole framework. There are a couple of other things you do after that. I did forget to mention, if you are considering doing a career change, you'll want to do a third extra step, which is to make a list of your skills and talents, because that's going to be really important in helping you decide how to tie money making to the things that make you feel passionate. But I want us to start there today, because that's enough. Sometimes for some, that will be a work. I want to provide you an opportunity to get intentional about noticing that you are important and the things you want are important. And this is a step along the way to designing your life and making big changes or making small changes that make you feel empowered in life again. The main thing is that this is a muscle, and it's been a long time that it's been unused. And so it may feel a little awkward to get back in there and start thinking about yourself again. I did have a friend who said, I'm blaming you. I'm speaking up now more about the things that I want. And, it's kind of shocking everybody around me. And I'm blaming you because you're making me think about these things. Sometimes that happens. It's like we put ourselves under a lid for so long that when we start this work, it sometimes can feel like there's been years of repressed feelings that come out. It's okay. Getting back in touch with ourselves and reconnecting with what we want is a very important intentional work, because from this place, we are going to be able to make decisions based off of what we want and who we are. And that is the best way to design a life forward, or to decide changes that you want to make in a career, or geographic changes or relational changes. This is the first step. Before we can do things, we must be. We must know who we are, right? Be first, then do. Okay. Let me know how this goes. Drop it in the comments below. What did it feel like to you to do these 2 things? And let's go from there.